It's in our nature to protect the ones we love, to stand up to any danger, to be strong and courageous, to always be prepared, to keep our family safe, to be the first line of defense. We are born to protect.
All right, what's up and welcome to the channel. My name is Headshot and thank you for joining us for our review on the Ruger Max 9. This has been a pretty great year for the concealed carry market so far. We've had the Shield Plus, now the Max 9, and I'm excited to bring this to you. That video that you've seen before our video started is from the USCCA, so if you are a law-abiding gun owner in the United States and you want to have more situational awareness, you want to learn about different situations, learn about concealed carry, and all of the a bunch of the intricacies that go inside that with a plethora of knowledge, use the link down below and check out the USCCA, because those guys are where it's at when it comes to law-abiding gun ownership, with the added benefit of self-defense liability insurance. On top of that, the training and everything you get there is awesome. Check them out down below. And of course, to our patrons, we really appreciate y'all for helping us to continue to make gun reviews just like this. If you want to join Patreon and become a part of the team, I'll leave that link down below as well. So let's get into this. We'll talk about the features and things like that. The specs we covered in the unboxing, so you can go check that out if you would like to. But I will show it against the Shield Plus just to give you an idea of where this one actually fits. So it's been years since we did the LC9S. I mean, maybe a year into the channel is when we actually reviewed that gun. It's been a very long time, but I still revered it as one of the top concealed carry guns up until, you know, this point now, when we're getting into another evolutionary stage, if you will, of the concealed carry market. About the same size as their counterparts, right? With more capacity than we could ever dreamed of really back then. So it's pretty cool. It's an awesome time to be a concealed carrier in the United States. So let's get into it. You have front and rear slide serrations. These are not the deepest slide serrations in the world, but they do the job. I never really thought, and we shot on a pretty hot day, almost 90 degrees. We live down here in the south, so it's already getting pretty hot. And I didn't notice any like slippage or anything like that. So that was pretty good. Of course, it does come with a cutout if you would like to put any kind of an optic on it, which it will take a variety of optics. I decided not to run it like that just because I wanted to see what these sights were like, and we'll talk more about that after the shooting part of the review. But you have a fiber optic front sight with a tritium insert for night sight capabilities. So that's the best of both worlds, right? And they're drift adjustable, and they can be co-witnessed with certain optics. So that's pretty cool. And then you have a blacked out rear sight, kind of like this U-notch deal right there. So Mrs. Headshot said it kind of reminds her of like a Glock sight. I think it's a little bit better, obviously, because you have a fiber optic, you have a night sight there, but the sight picture is kind of like a Glock in a way, okay? Striker fire gun, of course, this is the Pro model, so no external safety. If you decide to get one with an external safety, you can opt for that version. So you're gonna get a 10-round base magazine and then a 12-round extended magazine. All right, so pretty good right there, I think. They're staying pretty much in line with what everybody else is doing, and that is not a bad thing. So you have a rounded off serrated trigger guard, undercut right here. The gun feels very good in the hand, and one thing I will say is the magazine release button, it's a little bit smaller than the Shield Plus, but it looks like they extended it compared to the LC9S Pro. And then you have this semi-aggressive kind of texturing on the grip, which I think is a good thing, especially for these smaller guns that can be kind of snappy. It helps to keep the gun just locked into your hand and just gives it a really good feeling. And this is a natural pointing gun too, which I really do like that. Hardened alloyed steel frame, glass filled polymer lower. You know, the stuff that Ruger always does, that's what you get here too, okay? So there's nothing too new with that kind of stuff, all right? Striker fired, of course. You have this little loaded viewport down here, or this window right here that you can see your brass down in the chamber. So to give you an idea where this one fits, let's take out the Shield Plus and kind of show you, and these things are almost identical. Check that out. Length, width, right? And then if we put them on their backs, 10 rounds, 10 rounds. Almost identical. So let's check out the extended magazines, 12 rounds. 13 in the Shield Plus, so you do get one more round in the extended. And it looks like it's a little bit longer. All right, for one more round. Now, I don't carry with the extended mags. I want to keep my gun as small as possible, which is why I opt to carry something like this. But it just gives you an idea for a good backup magazine. That's pretty dang good, man. That's awesome, dude. To get this kind of capacity, let's just say back in the day before all these guns became really popular, the Glock 26 with 10 rounds, that's pretty much what you had, and that's a chunky little gun. So this is pretty dang awesome when you look at it like that. And just like Smith & Wesson does here, Ruger does the same thing. They extend that same kind of grip texturing down to the bottom of the base plate there. All right, so it gives you a little bit more of a purchase. It seems like more older folks are really concerned with that. At least the people that I talk to, they really want that full grip. So it gives you that option too, depending on your hand size as well. All right. So a really handsome looking gun, really like what they've done here, and of course we'll talk more about the sights and the trigger after the shooting part of the review, which is coming up here in a second. But I do want to show you, if you want to clean this gun, it's pretty easy. Now Ruger still does use this kind of pin system, so this little window right here, you just pull that down. You have a little notch cut out here with a notch on the backside, and all you're going to do is just find something small enough. You just want to push it back. You can see your pin here, right, with the notch here. You just push it back just enough. Make sure it's clear, obviously. And I kind of just get it started from the other side, get it to that point. Pin comes out. Pull the trigger. All right, everything comes off. You guys have seen this a bunch. It's a one-piece fire control unit right there. You can see your rails. Dual captive recoil spring, just like that. All right, so we've shown you what it looks like compared to the Shield Plus. Now, I did not carry this one. Holster does not have a holster as of the date of this video, but I'm going to be doing some more work with this gun, so I will definitely fill you in on that. With the size comparison to the LC9S Pro, it's just a little bit heavier, just a little bit. But with the way they did their magazines and the engineering that's going into this, it's pretty impressive that it's almost the same exact size gun. And that's kind of what we're looking for in this new era of higher capacity concealed carry guns that are almost the same size as their counterparts from back in the day. So it's pretty cool. Let's get to the range, and then afterwards we'll tell you about our pros and cons. We'll show you the trigger, and just tell you what we liked and what we didn't about the Ruger Max 9. Stay tuned. so hopefully y'all enjoyed that. I did a little bit of running, just a couple of drills just to kind of see how this did on the move and, all that kind of stuff. I just wanted to try something different, to be honest with you. And it actually did really good. So let's check out the trigger here. Very reminiscent size, feel, look of the LC9S Pro, okay? So let's check that out here. You have a little blade right there, which acts as a safety mechanism. You hit the wall. A little bit of creep in the trigger and it breaks. You can see how far up from the back of the frame that it actually breaks right there. Reset. Kind of long. Breaks again. But still, it has such a smooth kind of delivery. You can tell that reset, it's just a little bit long, okay? But the trigger is overall very smooth. I don't have a problem with it at all. 6 pounds, 8 ounces. I think that's probably, I think I got my finger in there, to be honest with you. Let's try it again. 6 pounds, 7 ounces. Let's try it one more time. It's got a pretty heavy curve to it. 5 pounds, 15. I'm gonna try to get it straight back as possible. It's really hard to do it when it's got that much of a curve on it. 6 pounds, I'm coming up in the upper 6 pounds consistently. I find it really hard to believe. 6 pounds, I'm consistently getting that. I mean, it's got some weight on it. It just doesn't, one thing that we noticed when we were at the range anyways is, and I don't hold this really against it, because these smaller guns, when we're at 10, 12 yards like we are, I don't expect to get every shot. Some people do. I guess, I don't know. I just feel differently about it. I don't expect to get every single shot into something like this, $50 or something. I just expect to be able to hit the target in the vital areas that I would feel comfortable with as a concealed carry gun. I'm not looking for a target gun. Now, what I did say, I think in the video, is if I'm aiming right dead center and I'm hitting in the upper head area or down, at the leg area, if you will, then yeah, we got a problem. But it seemed like everywhere I consistently pulled, I was in that general area. I didn't find it to be the most accurate small carry gun we've ever done, but I didn't find it where it was like insufficient or where I wouldn't feel comfortable carrying it. So I'm not trying to make excuses for it. I just I thought it did what it was supposed to do, but you can kind of tell, and that makes a little bit more sense of how heavy it is, that it almost seems like the trigger could have used an update, like the Shield did. And other guns like that. But again, I didn't find it like it was hard to shoot. Actually, well, we'll talk about that. We're going to do a 4-gun comparison here very soon with all 4 of these that we have so far. This was one of the better ones. I felt more comfortable running and gunning with this one in my hand than the other one. So I don't know. Sometimes it's not all about the weight, it's the way it feels. But again, I did notice that we didn't get like the super tight precision shots. So, it is what it is. Take it for what you will. And one thing too is, because your trigger is so far forward, if you're working with gloved hands or anything like that, you may have a little bit of trouble actually getting in there. So I just think that a trigger update, by moving it back, would give you more room for a gloved hand or finger, and then also maybe some kind of redesign in the trigger. I don't know. That's just my opinion, at least on the trigger there. But I did notice that this window is kind of small here for a gloved finger. Take it for what it's worth. But that's kind of how we felt. There was no issues, nothing like that. I think it did fine. I think it did what it was supposed to do in a self-defense type of pistol. All right, so there you go. Let's talk about the pros and cons. First of all, pros. Glad to see an update on this particular model because I love the LC9S Pro. To me, that was one of the best shooting and one of the best concealed carry guns of its time. Really love the front sight. Think that's awesome. Front and rear, tritium with the fiber optic, I think is great. Blacked out rear, I'm okay with that, but I really wish we had a couple of tritium dots here to give you better sight acquisition, I guess, in a low light situation. If you're running a red dot, that would take that issue, I guess, that would resolve that issue, okay? Love the grip texturing, love what they did there. Obviously, the capacity is good, the magazine release and everything works good. It's a good feeling gun too in the hand. And you know, obviously, having this capacity, I think, is really good for this type of gun. One thing I did notice, kind of a little con, this base plate moves around. It's kind of loose, but it's not coming off to that point. I just kind of noticed that it's just kind of loose there. Miss Hagshot kind of mentioned that in the, you know, she was expecting a little bit more recoil. It felt like a little bit more recoil than what she was expecting, if that makes sense. So she was expecting more recoil, and I noticed that too. It kind of had a little bit more of a punch to it. All right, so again, it's just one of those things. Smaller gun, 9mm. Yeah, you're gonna get some muzzle rise and some felt recoil there. And I noticed it too. It was a little, not as harsh as the Hellcat, not as harsh as that, but it definitely had some felt recoil. All right, so I guess that, you know, all guns do. This one had a little bit more, obviously, because of its size. Overall, how would I grade it? I would give it like an 8.5 to almost 9, maybe, probably 8.5. The things that we talked about, I think, could be improved. I think the trigger could definitely get some improvement, maybe in later models or something. You know, just because I know there's a lot of people out there that would look at that and be like, that's not good enough for me. And I just think, I personally want a little bit heavier of a trigger in a concealed carry gun. To me, that's fine. I just think if it was around the 6-pound mark, I just think it would just lighten it up like a pound or so. All right, so that's just me. Other than that, man, I'm so happy to see an update with the LC9S in the Ruger Max 9 here. So overall, 8.5 for a concealed carry gun. When I actually get a holster for it, I'll tell y'all how it does there, which I assume it's gonna be pretty awesome to carry. So we'll just have to see. All right, comments, questions, concerns, anything, make sure you leave them down below. Thank you for watching. We will see you in the next one. And as always, hold them down.